Hello, my name is Christopher Wright, and I'm with Infogressive. Today we're going to be talking about NMAP port scanning. NMAP port scanning is enumeration attackers use in order to gain information on a computer system. So what the NMAP does is it scans ports, and it can be tailored to specific ports or the entire swath of the available ports that any computer system has. So what a port is essentially a door into a computer system. So the NMAP port scanner scans and knocks on all these doors and finds out which ones are closed and which ones are open, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. And it can also garner information based on what operating system that computer is running. And it can also identify which versions of particular software. All this information is used to garner an idea of what the system is used for, as well as looking and defining what attacks might be, the system might be more vulnerable to. This process essentially starts what could be a malicious attack. In this example, the attacker is setting up the NMAP scans to do a blanket port scan across all the ports. So it's just a command of NMAP and what's called TAC in the industry, P, which is the variable for port scanning. And then if you're going to assign a specific port, you type in that port number after that P. Or if you just put another TAC after it, will scan all the ports available. And then you put in the IP address of the target that you're going after, or the computer that you want to scan. In a basic form, that's a NMAP port scan. So getting into the meat of the attack, once a scan has been completed, it will return with the information based on the parameters that were set within the command to execute. In this example, all the ports were scanned to see what was open and what was closed. For the majority of systems, most ports are closed unless they are absolutely needed to be open. On this one, it looked like several ports were open. Typical HTTPS, which is used for web browsing, on port 80 was open, as well as 3389, which is remote desktop protocol for accessing a computer system from a remote location using Windows RDP software. The port scanning also had the variables set for attributes and OS version identification. So this returned back most likely candidates for what version of OS. In this case, it was Windows Server 2012 R2, as well as other estimated guesses for what version of software it was running. Utilizing the data from the NMAP port scan, an attacker would be able to determine what vulnerabilities, if any, were available on that system. Taking a look at this example, we're looking at port 3389, which is the port used typically for RDP. An attacker could use port 3389 in order to exercise an attack in order to gain administrator credentials, and that could be used in order to compromise the system. The NMAP port scan is used frequently by attackers in order to garner reconnaissance information and also enumeration of what systems are there. So an NMAP scan is typically the starting point or the jump off point for just about any attack. There are other tactics and techniques used and available, however NMAP continues to be the most popular choice. A good defense against the NMAP port scanner would be a next generation firewall with good and thorough restrictive policies that limit the amount of open ports available and allow data and traffic to pass through those policies. The Infogressive perimeter security service with the next generation firewall is able to catch the scan, monitor, and provide logs that detail exactly what happened during this port scan. In this example, the logs clearly show that a lot of ports are being scanned, and these logs would provide more information as to what IP address or user performed this, as well as any additional information as to connection established. So in recap, with the NMAP port scanning, an attacker will use that information gleaned from the scan in order to determine which ports are open, if any vulnerable software is to be found on there, and any exploits they might be able to utilize by correlating what version of software that is, or if the port is open, and any vulnerabilities and exploits that are available to them.